Hey everyone, welcome to the cruising show here on Northern Viking Explorer. Today we are going to be sharing with you our likes and wishes from our recent Alaskan cruise on Holland America's Koningsdam. If you're new here, my name is Ken.
And I'm Andrea. We'll be discussing the layout and amenities, our inside cabin, the free food and restaurants, and entertainment and activities.
So let's go ahead and dive right into our likes and wishes of the Holland America Koningsdam. So Andrea, the layout and amenities on Holland America's Koningsdam.
Let's start with the theater because I love the theater. It's called the World Stage and it's unique.
It is unique, yes. It's kind of round. There's a round stage kind of in the middle.
But it's not a full round theater where you sit in the back, but it is quite circular.
Yeah. Some of the seats, you're almost behind the speaker if they have the stage all the way kind of extended. It's really neat that way.
It is. A lot of great sight lines. There are a few poles at the back.
More on the side, towards the side. So there is kind of, I want to call it theater style seating along the side.
Seating.
Think of the Muppet Show where those two kind of old guys sit up on the side. There's kind of some seating like that up along the side, and those have a little bit of pole obstruction.
Comfy though, and if you like your space, it's wonderful. But the main part, really comfortable seats. There's some different sizing too for seats.
Yeah. I did notice there's kind of a few seats towards the back that were a little bit wider. And I also noticed that there was a fair bit of leg room for all the seats.
Actually, you're right. It was really easy when people walked past us. We didn't have to stand up at all. There was walking room in front of you, which was really nice. Yeah,
definitely a beautiful theater. I actually think it might be, if not my favorite, one of my favorite theaters that I've actually ever seen on a cruise ship. It was gorgeous in there. And the screens. Did we talk about the screens?
No.
The screens kind of wrap around the backside and up the walls. So when they're doing performances in there, there's lots of visuals happening. It was gorgeous. I really like the world stage.
It's definitely a like for me.
So from there, let's jump into the pool.
Literally?
I didn't mean that, but the Lido pool. So there's a couple main pools on this ship. We've got the Lido pool. Did you like that one?
Well, I didn't actually go into the Lido pool, but I did feel it. It was warm.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what I loved about it. If I wanted to go swimming, especially in Alaska, it has the roof that opens and closes, the glass one.
Yes.
So it becomes like a solarium inside when it's shut.
Well, I would say, like, because we sailed out of Vancouver, when we got on the ship, that was open, the weather was beautiful, it was warm. And then as we kind of sailed towards Alaska, they tended to close it. So it was still nice and warm in there. Being in Alaska, even on the glacier day where it was really cold, you could have gone in there and swam and it would have been no problem. So it was really, really nice that way.
And if it was raining.
And if it was raining. So I really like, especially for an Alaskan ship, how that opens and closes. Gives you that kind of pool experience even when the weather's not so great.
That is definitely a big perk. And I did like that they had 3 hot tubs. Yeah. 2 were fairly small. 1 was bigger.
Yeah, one was... I went in both of them. The bigger one probably holds, 6 to 8 people comfortably. The smaller ones, when there's 4 in there, you kind of hope that it's, know everyone. But it was a nice area for sure. That area featured a couple of the dive-in restaurant and the pizza place, as well as there's ping pong tables. There's some bars in that area. It's beautifully decorated with the lounger chairs and the big screen is there. So really nice area. And
it does kind of include the deck 9 and deck 10 as well above, which is in that area.
And even when the roof is open, that's up on deck 11, I guess. So above there. So you can actually, when it's open, you can kind of look down in. The track kind of blocks the view a little bit, but it's quite nice from up there, up by the running track. So
I love that pool area. It was very nicely thought out.
Yeah. Then the other pool, this pool is beautiful as well. The sea view pool at the aft of deck 9. So kind of behind the buffet.
Correct, yeah.
It's quite nice.
I love a sea view pool. I like to be able to see the ocean and the wake. It's very nice.
when we wanted to be outside, that is probably where you would find us.
It was very nice.
Yeah.
And there's 2 hot tubs out there as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very nice space. And then one deck above it as well, kind of shaped around the pool area where you could sit for more seating.
Yeah, so you go to the edge of the ship and there's staircases that go up kind of over the edge. They've got the glass bottom in there. Funny enough, like, you know, I don't mind the glass bottom, but some people wouldn't walk on it.
No, I saw a person very nervous.
Yeah, and it wasn't a huge one. So, you know, I guess it is kind of scary for the first time for sure, but...
if you don't like heights, you may not like it.
Yeah, exactly. But going up above the sea view pool, those were some of the places we'd hang out as well. So
it's quiet up there and amazing views. I loved it.
Plus, the sea view pool had easy access to the beverage station in the buffet for your unlimited coffee.
It was very nice.
Yeah.
One thing I really appreciated on this cruise, though, was that there was towels everywhere around the pool. And we didn't need to check them out. They're just available.
No, you could just grab them. We actually used, in Alaska, a lot of people were using them as blankets too. And lots of them. I'm sure they go through a lot of laundry, but it was nice to just be able to grab a couple of towels and relax in the loungers, put it behind your head.
Pillow. Yeah.
So really comfortable that way.
I do wish that they had blankets out there though. But the towels were fine. But I would have used a blanket had there been some on some of the cooler days.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing any blankets out on the deck. Other cruise lines we've sailed to Alaska do have blankets out there. You're right, that would have been a nice touch to have some blankets out there. Now, I know you've talked about this a lot. You like how everything's named simple. It has a simple name.
It's the main dining room is the main dining room.
Yeah.
A lot of the names are simple. Like Sea View is the aft pool. The Lido pool is the main pool. It's really simple. But
I kind of laugh. Yes, I would agree. But the one thing that wasn't simple was in the elevators. The names all had musician names, so it would be like Beethoven or Mozart, and
it wouldn't say the number.
Yeah, so I didn't know what deck we were on. You could see on the little thing what number it was, but I wish it just said deck. Most people don't refer to it as the Mozart deck.
Yes.
They refer to it as whatever. We don't anyway. So I think it's easier if it's the number so you know what deck you're at.
I prefer the numerical.
I did see a few people miss there. I don't know if that's what they were calling it or if it was a little bit too many drinks from the...
Missed their floor?
If they missed it because too many drinks from the drink package. But one wish I did have about the pools, though, and the hot tubs, I should say. I think every time we cruise and this happens, I kind of mention this, closing at 10 o'clock at night is a little bit early for me. I saw there's people in the hot tubs and them getting shooed away at 10 o'clock.
Families in the pool.
Yeah. So I really wish that they were open till midnight.
Especially when you think of early July, the sun is still up in Alaska at 10 o'clock.
Yeah. You're shooing people out and it's still light out.
It still looks like, I know it's late, but it looks like daytime. And so people are still enjoying the evening.
Yeah. And I will say we had exceptionally good weather again on this cruise. So, maybe it's darker and rainier. People aren't in there. But that's when people love the hot tubs. So, I don't know. I just wish midnight would be a lot better. But.
Yeah, I like the late night soak.
But continuing down, so into the kind of lower decks, I would say decks 2 and 3 would be the main lower decks that you walk back and forth on. There's kind of an art gallery down on deck 1 and a couple different things, but most of it's on deck 2 and 3. And the way they built it is there's kind of a winding walkway down sort of the one side of the ship. So lots of different kiosks down there for, I don't know, like the photo galleries and buying electronics, that sort of thing, or jewelry. But then there's some larger shops as well.
That's right. And it was nice how it winded and gave it a kind of a relaxing stroll through those venues.
Yeah, it was actually kind of nice to walk back and forth on those decks. And then you could go outside as well on the promenade and walk all the way around the ship, which was really nice.
I love that.
It wasn't a running track.
No.
But it was a walking track. And we would go out there quite a bit.
Because the jogging track is up higher.
Yeah. And it's covered.
Yes.
So
it was
which
nice.
Was nice.
A really
yeah.
nice space.
Back inside though, one thing I do want to mention, there was quite a few regular size stores as well. So jewelry shops, of course, accessories, purses, that kind of thing. And then I would say Holland America did a really good job. There was quite a large shop, or kind of two shops, that had a lot of Alaskan and Holland America gear. So sometimes I've gone on cruises and I've been only seen a small little shelf of kind of logo wear, and this had quite a bit of it.
I think one of the advantages of it being Holland America is that they were selling Dutch type items, like even their vases and stuff, made it really interesting to look at those things.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a new twist.
Yeah, no, I would agree. It was lots of kind of unique items that we haven't seen on cruise ships before. So, other great venues on board. So, BB King's.
I really like that. I loved how you could go one deck above and look down on it.
Yeah. So there wasn't a ton of seating up on deck 3 over top of it, but down on deck 2 there was quite a bit.
Yes.
So it kind of wraps around it. There's a dance floor and a little stage. Typically it was like jazz music, or even they did, I think, some line dancing in there, different things like that. But the music was phenomenal in there, and
very lively.
Very lively. So it was a really nice venue. They also had a couple other venues for kind of music. There was the Billboard Onboard, as well as the Rolling Stone Rock Room. So more kind of rock music, I guess. Yeah, rock music and like 80s, a lot of that kind of stuff in the Rolling Stone. And then Billboard had 2 pianos. It was more like
dueling pianos,
singing, that sort of thing as well. So 2 great venues there.
Again, that continued that really awesome walk, because you would walk like through like amazing music and turn the corner and you'd be in another amazing music venue. It was nice to walk through that and hear all of that.
It was definitely nice. Now, along that though, there was the atrium. So that's kind of the open to 3-story area where the guest services is and that sort of thing. That was it wasn't bad, but I would probably say the most underwhelming part of it.
I kind of have a wish, and I know you can't just go and change this, but when you walk onto the ship and you come in at the atrium, that you were actually looking down at BB King's.
Oh yeah, that would have been awesome, with like
the big
jazz music playing down there, dancing.
And the music on multiple levels. Like, to have just moved that into the center of the ship would have just like totally boosted the atmosphere.
For sure, because there was no atmosphere in the atrium. It was like nice, but there was
classy.
No atmosphere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on the other side, if you have trumpets and saxophones playing, and they might need to move the guest services then, because you probably can't hear the guests complaining.
Who cares? Let's just rock it.
I shouldn't say complaining, but there's
We're adjusting things.
Adjusting things and stuff. So yeah.
Maybe they'd like the music.
Yeah. Sports deck.
Yes.
So way up above. So I think that was 11, 2 decks above the Lido. So there's the running track up there. It was short. It kind of went just around the pool part where the roof opens. But there was a sports court up there.
Side note, though, that running track makes a great place for watching whales, though.
For sure. That was that's one of the best sight lines if you're trying to look off the sides of the ship. Easy to go back and forth. Just watch out for the runners. There's a sports court up there. They had pickleball going on up there. I can't remember. I'm sure there was basketball hoops and different things like that.
Yeah.
And there was outdoor exercise equipment as well.
Yeah, not that I used it.
Ping pong by the Lido pool. There was a few shuffleboard kind of courts out there. I don't know, is it called a court? Shuffleboard court? Shuffleboard.
Sure. A shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard areas.
Yes.
So a nice area. We did walk through the gym.
We did. I didn't actually work out in the gym. I always have intentions of this.
Yeah.
It looked like a nice gym, though. It was like average size for a cruise ship.
It was modern. Again, like a lot of ships that had good views with glass. There was a couple of kind of workout studios, that sort of thing for classes. It was a nice gym. It was complimentary to go in there.
Yes.
And yeah, it was a nice gym. But then they had this, it was kind of you walk through the spa area to get to the gym, which of course is services that you pay for. So we did take the tour of that. They have all their different massage rooms and relaxation rooms.
And I should add, there was also the hydro pool area. It was part of the spa in that section as well.
Yeah, and the ice water bucket, I think.
Oh, yeah.
If you need to cool down in Alaska, get that.
Well, I think it's from when you go from hot to cold.
From the sauna, but
yeah. But yeah, if you want to like douse yourself in cold water, they have a bucket for you.
Now, this was something, and we may have missed it on other cruises, but it's the first time I've noticed this on a cruise.
Correct. And it's not to weigh in your damages for your cruise.
From the buffet. It's not to weigh your...
But they put out scales on the last night of the cruise, close to the elevator, so you can weigh your luggage, which is super handy if you're flying home.
Not on every floor, but I saw quite a few scales throughout the ship near the elevators, so that was definitely, if you're flying, a good perk. You can make sure you're under 50 pounds, and if you're got too many souvenirs on your cruise, you can
adjust to your carry-on.
Put a few extra layers of clothes on. So it was definitely, for this cruise, we were driving home, so it wasn't a big deal, but we would have definitely used that if we were flying.
Oh, for sure. We've needed it in the past.
Yeah, because usually we end up at the airport finding a scale, seeing if we're over, and then if we are, we take a few things out.
Yeah.
So
nice to organize that before you leave, though, to have your weights figured out.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? I think as for, it's not really the layout and amenities, but embarkation and disembarkation.
I really appreciate this because it didn't feel like a competition to get the best times. So even picking our check-in time.
Well, there wasn't a check-in time for our sailing. It just said to check-in started at noon, but it actually ended up starting at 10:30.
It did.
So I think we got on kind of 11-ish or something like that. Or maybe it was 10:30, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Long before they said.
Yeah. It was very relaxed. And
then for disembarkation, there was tags out by the guest services, and you could grab those kind of maybe midway through the cruise. But when we went by there a couple days later, there were still tons of tags. It wasn't a rush of everyone on the ship trying to get their tags.
It was very calm and not stressful at all.
I think they're accommodating. If you need to get off, they'll make sure it happens to catch a flight.
And the whole process was smooth.
Yeah. It was
great.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I think the Koningsdam was a wonderful ship. We did have a few little wishes there, but beautiful ship, and we really enjoyed it. So that's our review or our thoughts on the layout and amenities of the Koningsdam. So let's talk about our cabin. We were in an inside cabin, 8119, near the midship elevators on deck 8, and this was a sideways cabin, so it was a little bit unique.
It was a little bit unique in that it runs sideways along the hall.
Yeah, so kind of what that means is that the hallway runs down the long direction of the cabin rather than the short direction. So you actually entered the cabin right by the bed.
You do. It's a very modern cabin. I appreciate the colors. There's a lot of white, beige, grays. It feels very soothing. It's calm. It feels clean. I like that style.
I do too. And everything worked. We didn't have drawers falling out or bearings or broken, I don't know, faucets or anything like that. Everything worked.
I appreciate when you open all the cabinets, it's that soft close, everything's smooth.
Yeah.
I like that.
And you might be asking, well, why are you saying that? Well, because we've been on ships where there's broken drawers or
bearings falling out,
multiple things in the bathroom that need to be fixed, and this didn't have any of that. It was in really good condition.
Perfect, actually. I'd say it felt perfect to me. The bed was comfortable and there was lots of pillows.
I didn't... You know, sometimes when you sleep in a bed, you kind of wake up with a kink in your back. You're like, oh, that wasn't very comfortable. The bed was extremely comfortable.
A little bit on the firm side, though.
It is, but we sleep in a firm bed at home.
We do.
So
if you like a really soft, cushy bed, you may find it a little bit stiffer.
The unique thing, I keep saying unique, but about the bed, and I don't remember seeing this on other cruises, there was 2 big drawers at the end of the bed.
Yes, and I kind of wonder if that's intended for them to store extra bedding, because I did see the the thing they put on the end of the bed was stored in there.
Yeah.
But they're massive drawers. And
I kept my shoes in there, and I don't know if that's just a sideways cabin thing or if all the cabins have that. If you've been on the Koningsdam and your cabin has that, maybe
let us know.
Let us know. I'd like to know that.
I had a fear though then. The fear was that the suitcases would not fit under the bed because I love to store suitcases away and under the bed, but still accessible.
Yeah.
So we could fit both.
You kind of had to slide the one in and then back, but both of them did fit, and they were large, kind of 28-inch suitcases that hold about 50 pounds. So.
But it wouldn't have been easy to get into both suitcases all the time then.
No.
But
like it would be harder if you want to keep stuff in there to just slide it out, but they did fit.
They did. So I was happy about that.
So, but there was lots of storage, so we didn't have to worry about that. We'll talk about storage in a bit. One of my favorite things on when we get a cabin like this, I just have to rant and rave. This was so good. There was lots of plugs. So there was, this is the vanity alone. There was 3 120 like North American plugs, plus 2 European plugs, plus 1 USB-A port right at the vanity alone. So we bring like a European plug adapter that has USB A and C on it. That even gave us more plugs. If you want one of those, I'll link it below. But it was really, really, really nice.
And it's great for us, especially because we're charging batteries and a few extra things on top of the cell phones and the normal things you bring along, or even our smartwatches and everything you're charging. So,
plus, on top of that, this is where the plugs shine. They on both sides of the bed they had USB-A, but this is where it was great. They both had standard regular 120 outlets on both sides of the bed, not just one. A lot of times it's just on one side. This was on both sides, so we could both plug in at the side of the bed. And
that deserves an applaud. Like, that is just like, yay! Like, thank you.
Thank you for doing that right, because that is not common.
That's not standard, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The other thing, the walls and ceiling were metal, so our hooks worked, so we can hang our hats and different things like that.
All the magnetic ones we bring.
Yeah, the magnetic hooks, so our daily papers, we can magnet them to the wall, that sort of thing.
I did find they had nice hooks in the cabin already, but I still like to hang up our things, so that's handy. Yeah,
and those as well, if you're interested, they're linked below with the magnets. Just a great feature to bring on a cruise. They're small and they work great for keeping everything organized. So especially
if you want like the daily paper and stuff hung up, it's really nice.
Yeah. TV.
A nice size TV.
Probably 37, 40-inch TV. There was a lot of free movies. Quite a few free movies to watch on there on demand. There was kind of your standard news channels and kind of home and garden-y type stuff on there. Very similar to other cruise lines that we've seen. This is one kind of wish I have, and I kind of say this a lot because there are cruise lines out there that have a lot of comedies on demand. I don't remember seeing any on demand for free. And I do like watching comedies on the ship, and the TV channels typically don't have a lot of that. So I wish the free on demand sitcoms, yeah, not movies but sitcoms. But there was a lot of free movies on there. So
the one thing I really liked about the TV though is the angle. It's when you're laying in bed, it's looking straight at the TV.
Okay, yeah.
And because the way our cabin was turned too, the TV's quite close to the bed.
Yeah.
So it's like perfect for viewing. It's like
not that you go on a cruise to watch TV, but when you have downtime, you kind of.
But sometimes they're up in the corner or like in a weird angle that it's not comfortable to watch from bed, and there's no couch in there. So it is nice to be able to lay in bed and watch TV.
Yeah. So, anyway, cabinets, storage. There was quite a bit of it.
At first, I didn't think so.
Yeah.
But I was wrong.
So there was 2 fairly large cabinets. We both just took one of those wardrobe type things. 2 sides to that, and there was some drawers in there as well. Lots of hangers.
Yes, lots of hangers.
And then there was a third one which did house the little mini fridge, I believe, and the safe. So there was a little bit of room in there, kind of up top and around. And then there was a corner cabinet as well.
The corner cabinet, I felt like was more of a display. It held the ice bucket and some wine glasses. but just the angle of it didn't work really well for me for keeping things. Maybe like sunscreen and that kind of stuff.
There was the top part, kind of the glass open area where you could keep that kind of stuff.
Yes, not that I needed a lot of sunscreen on this trip, but you could keep little things up there.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was quite a bit of storage.
And in the cabinet, though, with the mini fridge, was the robes that they put in there.
Yeah, there was
nice.
Robes you could use. We didn't ask for them; they just showed up. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's normal or not. And I was honestly, I never look in the ice bucket, but the ice bucket was full of ice every day.
Every day, and I kind of felt bad because we didn't use the ice bucket, and I felt like I should have told our room steward because I'm sure that's a lot of extra work for them.
Yeah, no.
But if you like ice, they have ice in there.
One wish I kind of have in that area, it was a little bit dark looking into the cabinets. So there could have been a light down in that area. Even I would say the whole cabin was a little bit on the darker side. Maybe one more light above the bed would have been nice.
And in the vanity area, if you were kind of picky with makeup, it was better to go into the bathroom because the bathroom was well lit.
Yeah. Well, that's a good transition because the bathroom was wonderful for an inside cabin.
It was really nice.
Probably one of the nicest we've seen. So why don't we just start out with the shower? Mm-hmm. We were on a different ship a few months ago, and we thought that had a big shower for an interior room. This was even nicer than that one. So first off, it had the glass or acrylic door, and it went across the whole
end of the bathroom.
Yeah, so sometimes you'll find the little corner one, and you're tangled in a shower curtain. This was not like that at all.
You get tangled in the shower curtain? I don't like when the shower curtain touches me. Okay. I'll be honest. Yeah, I understand.
And then the water pours on the floor, and
this was clean.
It was clean.
It feels clean, and I would love a glass shower, anyways. But this is huge for me. For sure.
And in the shower, of course, there was the kind of big shower head. It had the retractable line, and
for your drying your clothes in your swimsuit.
Exactly. But it also had shampoo, conditioner, and body soap. And the reason I'm pointing
not 3-in-1, not 2-in-1. These are 3 different products.
Well, and a lot of cruise lines we've seen haven't had a conditioner.
No.
So the fact that there was 3 of them was really nice.
And they were, I thought, really nice quality. So much so that I didn't bother to unpack my shampoo and conditioner. I was happy with the products. So that makes it nice when you're traveling, especially flying.
Well, I don't think I packed shampoo and conditioner, so it was. But even the sink. So the sink and the toilet area was fairly standard. There was a plug for your shaver there. But there was liquid hand soap there as well. And
body lotion, which is
so,
nice because a lot of times you don't find hand lotion, and I didn't find it on this cruise, but some vacations, especially when you change climates, you can find it really dry. You unexpectedly want body lotion, so that was nice.
A couple of other things we did want to point out: the daily, I think it's called, which is like the agenda, was automatically delivered to our cabin in the paper format. Which I appreciate. We didn't have to go ask for it, to have requests for it to happen. It just came. That's something we love. We like to take them home. But we also find it easier on the ship to have the paper version rather than, I feel like when I'm using the app just to look at that, it's so easy to miss things. And the paper one, you can just go through and even highlight the things or underline the things that you want to do. And it's all there. And you wanted to mention special requests. Yeah,
this is the first time I've seen this on a cruise. There was a paper form that you could request things like extra towels, an extra blanket. So we did actually. I might be a blanket thief. So we did request the extra blanket because I'm notorious for stealing all of them and dumping them on the floor.
So it was handy. You just filled it out, left it on the bed for your room steward, and then that showed up the next day. We also had a little gift from Effie.
Yeah.
Like a little necklace in there.
And we got Holland America gift bags.
Oh, that's right.
Canvas bags.
The canvas
to celebrate
bags.
Their anniversary.
And there was chocolate on one night, and then Lindor on another night. So there was definitely some little free gifts throughout the cruise.
I'm a child. I get excited when there's free gifts, even if I have no purpose for them. I'm like, wow! So that's huge. It makes that made me feel special.
But there are a couple wishes.
Yes. There's always a few
There's
wishes.
always a few wishes. The first would be, I would say, we've seen photos and videos of some of the other cabins on the ship.
It's a good thing we saw them after.
Yeah.
Because we were happy with our cabin pretty much when we were on there, but...
Well, but we did mention this. There wasn't great flow in the cabin because it was a sideways cabin. Like it was kind of a snaky path from the far side of the bed to the bathroom.
So it wasn't an issue for me because I was on the side of the bed by the door and the vanity in the washroom.
Yeah.
But Ken could never get past me. If
Well,
I'm sitting in the vanity, you can't get past me. If you can't.
You
open
can,
the
but
door.
it's more you're doing the dance around one another to get by, like that.
Yeah.
So it's just, it felt like someone was always in the way. Me. I was always in the way.
Yeah.
And I mean, to me, it wasn't really a big deal, but if you like your privacy, when you open the door, the bed's right there.
So, like, if you're changing, you may not want to change right there because
If you're the person you're sailing with might walk in, yeah,
or even
just
sleeping because
yeah.
people from the hall can see you snoozing. So
Well, only if you open the door, it's right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to mention about this specific cabin, on the back side of it, there was clearly a workspace for the Holland America employees, so there was a lot of clashing back there.
To me, I noticed the sound mostly from, I'd say 6 a.m. till 11 o'clock at night.
But I did get not tossed out of bed, but like woken up
Startled.
at 3-4 in the morning by a big crash back there. And I also did hear a phone or
Like a service call.
Or I don't know if it was something ringing behind the wall one day. So I'm not sure what that was. It might not have been a phone. It might have been some other device, but something was ringing back there.
It sounded like dishes were being done. Like you'd hear this like crash, like a whole bunch of cutlery was being dumped out or something. Like it had that like, but almost like an ice machine kind of sound.
It could have been ice. It could have been anything, but...
we were playing Guess That Sound.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, it seemed like most of that noise, I felt like I noticed towards the first 2 days of the cruise, and then I didn't even think about it the rest of the cruise, so it was fine, but it was definitely a little bit louder that way, because I didn't hear noise from the hall.
Very minimally.
Yeah.
And if you were a light sleeper, you might find it irritating, but it didn't bother me.
No. But, yeah, it was,
Yeah.
I mean, it was good that way. I shouldn't say that I didn't hear noise. There was a group that stopped and had a big conversation outside our door, and I could hear that. They were fairly loud, but for the most part, you didn't hear people walking by or anything. But the cabin was great. I would definitely stay in an inside cabin again. I might pick a different location because of the back noise, but it was beautiful. I really liked the layout of that. So that's our thoughts on our inside cabin on the Koningsdam. So if you're still watching or listening, you're probably getting some value or enjoying this content. If you could go ahead and hit that subscribe or follow button, it would really help us out in growing this channel so we can bring you more content like you're watching right now. Well, the free or complimentary food and restaurants on the Koningsdam. So this is food that's included with your cruise fare at no additional cost.
This is always a great perk about cruising. People love cruise because there's lots of food options. They're famous for their food.
Yeah.
So shall we start with the buffet?
Yeah, we'll start with the Lido Market Buffet, kind of towards the aft of the ship or the back of the ship on deck 9.
Sandwich between the two pools.
Yes. Sandwich.
Sandwich.
Yeah. And they had sandwiches.
They did. It's a really nice buffet, though. It's large. It runs on both sides of the ship, both the port side and the starboard side.
Yes.
Giving lots of options.
Well, there's seating down both sides, so there's glass down both sides, lots of seating, actually quite a bit of seating.
And beautiful glass so you can see the ocean. And
we even saw whales while we were eating breakfast there. So
yes.
Yeah. So again, 2 sides of the ship, lots of different stations. So this is designed not a big row of food. There's different stations. So there was like a Mexican theme. There was
Asian foods like
food,
sushi,
salad stations, dessert, kind of your American style meat and potatoes kind of sections. And some of the stuff would be in
Various.
in multiple stations. But there was a lot to choose from. And I thought the food in the buffet was excellent.
It was really good.
Probably, this is one of my favorite buffets that we've had on a cruise ship.
I think it's the first time I've seen Yorkshire pudding in a buffet. Like, there were, like, that extra level of things.
Yeah. Well, so there was, like, beautiful cherries one day, or actually 2 days in there. They had beautiful, like, cakes that came out on the one day, bowls of, like, mussels and salmon and
Watermelon. Lots of watermelon.
Fruit. And I appreciate that, not always, but that they do chopped fruit. I like watermelon, but I don't love eating it off the rind on a cruise ship. Like, I prefer it, like, in a bowl. And part of that is because I like to take a bowl back and put it in our fridge in the cabin and eat it at night as a snack. So that's, I think, where that comes from. But so many different options. The carving station with different meats, tons of desserts, hard scoop ice cream, soft serve ice cream. And one thing we did notice is commonly from dinner and the main dining room, some of that stuff would actually be served in the buffet as well.
It's true. You can actually see some of the food options in the app. It'll say like like if they're serving something special, it'll be mentioned in the app. So, which is convenient to know what your options are, what you're gonna get.
Well, the one night I believe they had like a steak night in the buffet, so it was really good that way. And the other cool thing is they opened it back up at 10:30 to 11:30 at night for a smaller buffet. So if you were looking for a late night snack, they did that as well.
The one thing I did want to say, though, even though the buffet was on both sides of the ship and they had similar options, not all the stations were exactly the same.
No, I think like the Mexican was on one side and the sushi kind of was only on one side, but then the other side might have more breads and sandwiches sort of thing. So
you might want to circle the whole thing if you're actually like
looking for
before
options.
you make your decision.
The other thing on the scale of how policey they were of the food, I call it the bacon police, because on some cruises, like they at breakfast, like it might be hard to find bacon,
or they don't have bacon,
or they've run out. There was a fair bit of bacon on the cruise, so easy access to it, and it didn't feel like they were guarding it, I think. And I say that the bacon police, I feel like sometimes on a cruise, things that are a little bit more expensive items, they get guarded and controlled, and I didn't feel that to be the case on the ship.
Being said, though, a lot of the stuff they served you on this cruise in the buffet. There were some things that you could just take that were set up or served already, but it was interesting. I have kind of like a wish, though, in that.
Okay, yeah.
So I found that sometimes a little bit confusing. I'll give an example. So if people are waiting for an omelet, a custom omelet, and there's a lineup, that lineup could be blocking food that you could just grab and go.
Yeah.
So you didn't want to feel like me. I don't want to feel like I'm budging the line.
Yeah.
But then I felt at times like I had to wait still.
Well, I noticed that with the taco or burrito station.
Yes.
So they'd make you a custom taco or burrito, but then if you just wanted the chips to make your own nachos, that the line for the burritos and tacos would block if you just wanted chips to make your own kind of nachos, which you could serve yourself. So, yeah.
A little awkward or just required some more patience.
So just on the beverage section though, so there was a few of them throughout the buffet. There's so the complimentary beverages. There was coffee, decaf coffee, teas.
Lots of teas. A massive selection of teas.
For sure. Water refilling stations with ice.
There was honey too, I should mention, at the coffee station tea. So if you like tea in your coffee, if you like honey in your tea.
Yeah. So there was a lot there. Now, how would I say this? The beverages of like lemonade, iced tea, any kind of fruit punches, that they served you. So one wish I think would be that there was just like one of those Vitality machines that you could just fill up on your own. Because like in the morning they'd have orange juice or whatever in there. But if it's busy, you could be waiting a little bit for that. Or if you wanted to go get it yourself, sometimes you would get it yourself, but it kind of felt awkward because it's at the server stand.
Like, I don't think you were really supposed to,
yeah.
but we may have helped ourselves.
Well, because nobody
was around.
Yeah, so I think it would be better if they had at least a couple of those Vitality machines and did service.
Because I do appreciate when you're sitting down and they bring you coffee and bring you the drinks.
For sure.
It makes it easier, but
I think you should have both options to be able to fill yourself.
I do too. So that's
because sometimes you just want to grab an iced tea and go sit by the pool or whatever, and I don't want to sit down, and then I feel bad because I sat down, do that, have to wipe the table again, all that sort of thing. So I'd rather just be able to fill my own.
Yeah.
From there, we out by the pool. One thing I do want to mention. I know we already mentioned they opened back up from 10:30 to 11:30, but there was no annoying announcements.
Oh, yes. Like when you're sitting in the Lido Market buffet, there is, once you are done, please leave to make room. Because there was simply room.
Yeah. There's enough room, whereas we've been on multiple other cruises where you're sitting there and you feel so rushed because they keep putting this announcement out. Once you're done, please leave the buffet.
And it's loud. Like you can't even have a conversation when it goes off. It's just like, leave,
and this pressure to leave. And it's like, and I appreciate that. The other thing is it was stayed open while
it was closed.
It was closed. So you could go in there and play cards or get coffee. I think, was it 24-hour coffee? Or at least extremely late. You could go get coffee, sit in there by the window and just relax, play cards and enjoy yourself.
Especially if you're with a group. Like if you're like traveling with other cabins, it's a great place to meet then and hang up in those after hours because there's lots of space.
And you might be saying, don't all cruise lines do that? No. Some cruise lines fully shut that area off. And it's actually quite frustrating because then there's not really a space to go sit.
Or they make it difficult, then you can't cut through the buffet to get to other venues. So thank you.
Yeah, good job. That was a really good buffet.
Yeah.
Out by the pool, so the Lido pool, there's the dive-in burgers and hot dogs. It's just called dive-in, I think, but that's where you would get your complimentary burgers, hot dogs, that sort of thing.
Fries, and they're made to order.
Yeah.
They were very good.
They give you a little buzzer, and I think we waited about 15 minutes for that. So a few different options to order from. My burger was good. I think you felt yours was a little underwhelming, the one you had.
I just thought that I had the chicken burger, and I thought the amount of meat was surprisingly small, so I kind of think that was just a one-off, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Otherwise, it tastes really good. It had guacamole. It was good.
Yeah. And then, so out by the pool again, but one deck up, is the New York Deli and Pizza.
Yes.
Which was really nice. So they have pre-made kind of your standard pizzas, the basic cheese or pepperoni, that sort of thing. Or you could get custom-made pizzas.
Yes. My advice here is that go with the time to order the custom pizza.
So they have different ones you can order that take time to make, or you can actually make a custom one.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought the pizza that you waited for, again, you get a buzzer and wait for your order, was substantially better than just a slice of pizza handed to you. For sure.
Now, you could go here for breakfast as well. They did have some breakfast offerings, kind of lunch and dinner-ish. They had the pizza, they had sandwiches, they had different kind of desserts and salads, different things like that you could get. And the other thing I did want to point out, this is the only other place that we found on the ship where you could get complimentary lemonade and iced tea.
Self-serve. It was just around the corner, which is actually convenient because if you are using the Lido pool, you just need to go up a floor.
Yeah, they were in jugs and you'd pour it for yourself. So the other cool thing is at night when they were playing movies, they did have a little bit of a different menu. They had things like chicken wings and pretzels, different fun snacks like that. And out on the deck when there was movies playing, they had little bags of popcorn that were complimentary.
All of this was complimentary. Yeah. And you might be like, well, of course, but not all cruise lines give you the chicken wings complimentary, sushi complimentary.
Yeah. Popcorn at the movies, sometimes you have to pay for that. So it's definitely...
I appreciated that. So thank you.
So from there, let's jump all the way down to deck 3 to the Dutch Cafe.
I love the Dutch Cafe. It is such a cute, true cafe. They totally went with the Dutch theme.
Mm-hmm.
It's cute. It's creative. It feels like you stepped into another land.
Well, and even the kind of seating area, some of the tables have kind of Dutch themed stuff inside them. I think it was like windmills or something. And there's kind of a side room with great views as well.
It's super cute.
Yeah.
I liked it. It's a true cafe where you go and line up to order. And once you order, they give you a table number and you go sit down and they bring you your food.
Yeah. So there was, if you like pea soup, the pea soup was really good.
It's good. Really
You
hearty.
could get that there. They had pannenkoekens. I don't know.
And they weren't just pancakes though. They had the berries and the whipping cream, and the presentation was pretty. Like, you want to take pictures and put it on Instagram because it's so pretty.
Yeah. Lots of different desserts were there. You could get different sandwiches.
Very Dutch sandwiches. Like, I had to look at the example and the menu.
Yeah, I believe one of them had like the veal one, I believe. But it was kind of a deep fried, kind of hot dog looking thing but it was good. Yeah,
no, yours accidentally got mixed up though.
It did.
They had the name by the wrong example that day. So
it's not what I ordered, but it was fine.
Yeah.
So other light snacks. Now I do want to mention that this is combined with the coffee shop on board. So the coffee shop is not complimentary, but this is where you would go if you're wanting like
Dutch
to order
coffee. It's Dutch coffee.
Yeah, but order your kind of lattes and specialty coffees. But that being said, if you want to drip coffee there, which is free up in the buffet, I don't know if it's the same coffee, it's $3 for drip coffee there.
Yes. So I think it's a different coffee though in the Dutch Cafe, but there's no complimentary coffee.
There isn't. So I think that would be one of our wishes for sure for this area. I would say the whole lower area of decks 2, 3. There was no place to get complimentary coffee or complimentary beverages at all. Like whether it's water or any. I mean, you probably could have gotten water at the Dutch Cafe, but there was no beverage station.
You know, and we didn't ask to verify if there was lemonade or iced tea there, but it would be nice if there was a drink station. Yeah,
for sure. So keep that in mind that coffee was not complimentary though at the Dutch Cafe. So let's jump over. Everybody loves the main dining room on a cruise ship, and we're going to talk about that. So let's start out with brunch and breakfast. So on the sea days, they had brunch.
They did. Now, and that is quite an interesting menu. Because they have...
Well, everything from kind of like your traditional breakfast, like eggs and bacon and pancakes, but then you could get steak and eggs and different things like that.
It was, or like reindeer sausage.
Yeah.
And weird, like creative Alaskan things. So it was a good menu though.
It was a good menu. And then we actually only went there for breakfast that wasn't brunch on the day we got off the ship.
That's true. Yeah.
So, but that was more your traditional bacon and egg sausage pancakes, that sort of thing. But I enjoyed it.
It was good.
We try to go there a few times on every cruise we do, and it was good.
And the speed was good, especially if you don't have to be off the ship immediately and you're taking one of the later disembarkations. Yeah. It's a nice way to spend your morning.
Yeah. If you're going to be waiting, you may as well
be drinking coffee
and eating in the main dining room. They did an afternoon tea. You were excited about this?
Yeah, and I actually liked how they did this. A little bit different than other afternoon teas that I've been to. They bring the serving tray, the 3-level one, and leave it right on the table. Yeah. And so you're actually not ordering off of a menu at all.
It's a
preset thing. So you got your sandwiches, and then your kind of like little baked items, and then your sweets on top. So it doesn't always mean that, for me, then I kind of go, oh, do I have to eat it all? No. Yeah. It was kind of, we got one for the two of us to share. Yeah. It was a nice variety.
They automatically just bring it to the table. And you can also get, I mean, I had coffee there. You had tea, but you can get coffee as well. So
it was very nice. And there actually was quite a line, though, going to this. We went and just walked around a bit for 10 minutes and came back and were seated immediately.
Yeah. So
very nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. And then dinner in the main dining room. So we, I think, ate there every night for dinner.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
So
one thing, again, this is not found all the time everywhere, is there was tablecloths on the table every single time we went into the main dining room.
Yeah. I think just we like the classic cruising where there's a tablecloth and physical menus. You're not scanning a QR code. I do like that, that they automatically bring you a menu.
And the spacing in the main dining room. The tables aren't jammed close together.
Yeah.
We felt like we could have a conversation together, and like every night was a date night, and that we weren't part of a big group or we're just squished in.
Yeah.
We felt very comfortable.
Just back on the menus thing, if you did want to see them, you could download them in the app ahead of time. If you did want to have a look at the menus before you go to dinner.
Which I might do from time to time. Even though I still like to hold a menu in my hands, I like to get that sneak peek.
So quickly, Appies, there was lots of different options, different various salads, Caesar salads, or you had some fancy looking ones.
I like the ones that are baked in the pastries and stuff. Yeah.
Some of the other ones, cod slider, I had escargot, like crab cakes, Thai vegetable spring rolls, and they even had pea soup there on one of the nights. So lots of great options that way. Some of the mains we had roasted chicken. We both had that. New York strip loin steak, cracked peppercorn tenderloin with grilled shrimp. There was lots of fish on the Alaskan cruise, which was actually, it said on the menu that it was Alaskan fish. And we actually saw them bringing the fish on in Alaska at one of the ports with I wanted to say tow trucks, but forklifts.
And they have a program where they tell you which fish is actually fresh, like freshly brought onto the ship.
Yeah, so it was really good. So we had salmon, Alaskan cod, and other things like braised brisket.
Okay, but I learned that I loved braised brisket.
Yeah?
Like, I don't know why, but I fell in love with it on this cruise. Like, I couldn't get enough. It was so good. Which is surprising, because that's not usually me.
You're usually more the fish and chicken.
Yeah, but I was like, just give me the brisket.
And then so many great desserts. So chocolate brownies, cheesecake. There was mini Choco Dam, which kind of was like a mini ship.
Ship was very cocoa-y.
Yeah. Creme brulee, one of my favorites. S'more sundaes, double chocolate tarts, and another one of our favorites, the baked Alaska. So there was, and all of that, we say that there was so much more than that, but those are just some of the things that we enjoyed through our week. So wonderful time. And final thoughts on the free food and restaurants? Yeah.
I have to go again so that I can resample it.
Yeah, it was wonderful. There was great options on the Koningsdam. So the entertainment and activities on the Koningsdam, let's talk about it.
Let's start with one of my favorite events. It was the Captain's Welcome Show. I love when you get to see some of the senior staff.
Yeah.
And this was held in the World Stage Theater. And I really appreciate it. It was on the second night. And as we're heading into the theater, a lot of the top staff,
the senior staff,
are standing at the entrance, and they're greeting you, they're shaking your hand, they're asking you questions, and they offer you there a champagne or a soda that you share or save for the toast later as part of the show.
It was only about 10 to 15 minutes long. It was kind of before the main show, so it was really quick. But yeah, it's always nice to see who the captain is early in the cruise. So if you bump into them, you can say hello. Because we've gone on cruises where I don't know who the captain is.
No. Yeah. So I like this. And it makes it personal. They make that connection.
So that was in the world stage. Other than the main shows, we'll get to that in a second. There was quite a few different shows in the world stage. So there was like a Diderot show on the great kind of Alaskan race. Lots of kind of seminars and things to learn about Alaska. There was the Future Cruise seminar, Deal or No Deal. And then probably our favorite of kind of those daytime ones was the animals you might see during a cruise show.
I would say this was the most beneficial for our cruise, because part of going to Alaska, I think most people are hoping to see whales. And we were told when it was likely that we would see whales. They can't promise this.
Yeah.
But they have some information. They know a little bit about when the salmon are coming through and different things like that.
Yeah.
And did we see whales?
For sure. Tons of whales. Just the one morning.
And during that specific time.
I would say at least 50 whales. And if you include the ones that were way off, probably closer to 100 whales. It was spectacular.
Spectacular. It was, it was amazing. Totally worth it.
So that was kind of all in the world stage. There was quite a few main shows. Every night there was the main show in the stage. So the first night was the origin story of Holland America, the first 150 years. So that was kind of the cruise director and video kind of back and forth. That was really a lot of good history in that.
It gave me a deep sense of appreciation for Holland America and their history and how they've contributed. Yeah. It had value.
And then, so there was comedy by Alvin Williams on 2 of the nights. 2 of the nights there was singing performances by Major Fourth. And then 2 of the nights there was dance performances by, is it Step One Dance Company? So 2 nights of comedy, 2 nights of singing, and 2 nights of dancing.
Yes.
So I would say the singing performances and the dancing performances. So the singing was only singing with kind of canned music in the background. The dancing was only dancing with canned music in the background. There was singing in the canned music, but no combo music.
No live music.
Yeah, for either of those. Yes. So, which the performances were good, but I felt like the 2 singing performances were very similar to one another, and the 2 dancing were very similar. So it felt a little bit redundant.
I kind of miss that play. You know how some of them have like more of a story and a play that's mixing music and dance?
Yeah.
It didn't have that.
Yeah. So I kind of wish there was one more musical performance, kind of a combo performance in there, or maybe a special guest piano player, something like that to bring it all together so that it didn't feel like 2 of the same performances with just different
I think you
songs.
Would have loved to have had a magician.
A magician. I would have loved a magician.
Magicians.
So those are my thoughts on that. The shows were good overall, but again, a little bit redundant. They had some other fun stuff going on the ship. They did like a polar bear plunge where they dumped ice buckets on your head and you jumped in the pool. They had some great stuff because this was an Alaskan cruise for Glacier Bay.
This was amazing because I wouldn't normally put this as like entertainment, but Holland America took this to another level by providing so much for us for Glacier Bay. We had a map the night before delivered to our cabin, like an actual printed
paper map,
and they referred to where we were in the map. They gave us information. They gave us information of what animals we might see. It was an event. It truly was.
It was an event. And so the park rangers from Glacier Bay actually came on board. We got our like passport book stamped that we visited Glacier Bay, and they set up a little booth. You could buy stuff. You could talk to them, and they went over the loudspeaker and announced what we were seeing.
Kind of narrated the event.
Yeah, which we've seen on other cruises as well. Not all Alaskan cruises,
no.
But on this one, it was really well done. Where to look, what you're looking at, sort of
I
thing.
think it might have been the best.
Yeah.
It was pretty close to magical.
The other thing I want to say is they did open up the front of the ship, the very front of the ship on deck 5. So you could go out there and see the glaciers from out there, which I appreciate when the cruise lines do that.
And they also served you pea soup out there.
Yeah, they were serving it out there as well as up in the crow's nest where the rangers were.
Yeah.
They were serving pea soup as well there. So it was really nice.
It's fantastic.
Lots of other entertainment on the ship throughout the cruise. They of course had trivia, which is a staple on cruise lines. Ballroom dancing lessons or different kind of line dancing. Yeah. BB King's, I think it's called the Blues Club. Fantastic music there. Saxophones, trumpets, singing. It's 2-story. It's gorgeous in there. They had the Orange Party in there, so a lot of people dressed up in orange and kind of did it. There's dancing and lots of Dutch treats.
Yeah, they walked around serving appetizers. This is
mostly desserts. But some appetizers,
That's, if this is something you want to do, which I highly recommend, go early to the orange party though, especially if you want to get a seat.
Well, because they had I think it was the line dancing lessons right before, so people didn't leave the line dancing. It kind of went straight from the line dancing into the orange party.
You know, it's fun too because I could tell that the dancing that they had taught all week long then was applied at the orange party.
Yeah.
So if you want to join in and dance, like check out some of those lessons too if you really want to know and feel like
they had
part of it.
If you're getting drinks, they had orange drinks, all sorts of ones you could get there as well. So it was neat. It
was fun.
A lot of senior staff there as well.
Yeah,
So.
it was great, and all generations were out there dancing. It was great. It was fun to watch.
And not far from there, they've got the Rolling Stone Rock Lounge or Room, so that was a lot of classic rock music. Yeah. Phenomenal. I can't remember how many times we either would sit there or walk by and just stop because there's the walkway goes by. It was really good. And then across from there, Billboard Onboard, so another lounge. There's 2 pianos. We saw kind of dueling pianos. Really nice lounge chairs. The bars are there. It's a really nice area.
Absolutely.
So up on the upper decks, pickleball lessons, ping pong tournaments, all sorts of stuff going on in the sports courts. Different tournaments, and then by the pool, so the Lido pool, movies by the pool.
Which I like because I see this on a lot of cruise ships. Okay, so what I really liked is they had the loungers set to watch the movie with really comfy padding put on the chairs
and free popcorn.
And then they're serving extra food varieties that you can pick up in that area, like wings and pretzels. To enjoy it. But here's my wish. I found it difficult to hear. And so I wish that they would put closed captioning on the screen.
Okay.
Just because it is in the pool area, so there's still kids playing and swimming and that kind of noise, which you understand. So when there's dialogue, I found it hard to follow.
Yes, I would agree. The other, I don't want to call it a wish, but just aware. A lot of the movies were Alaskan themed movies, so maybe they weren't the A grade kind of action movies that you might expect to see around the pool. It was a lot of Alaskan themed movies that maybe have been around for 20 years type of thing. So just keep that in mind. It wasn't like all the action movies you might see on, or like the last cruise we were on, Top Gun was on there. That they didn't show that sort of a movie by the pool. So and I don't know if that's just an Alaskan thing or a year-round thing with Holland America.
I think it would be Alaska.
Yeah. Oh, for sure with Alaskan.
Yeah.
So, but more of a low-key movie year-round type of thing. So lots and lots of stuff going on around the ship, and even more than we mentioned. I know you'd wanted to mention, this doesn't really fit in, but the app.
Yeah, the app has a free chat section in it, and it's actually easy to miss, and it doesn't cost anything. Other cruise lines do charge, so I could friend Ken in the app, and then I could send him a message without being on the internet package. The one thing though I would say to keep in mind is you didn't always get the message right away.
No, I would open up the app to make sure that it comes through. Sometimes it popped through, but sometimes you had to open the app to see it. So if you lose your friend or family member, make sure to open up the app to check if it comes through. But it's great that it was actually free and included because cruise ships are big and you can lose people for hours. Our daughter once, we lost her, but she was sleeping.
Mind you, she wasn't young. She's an adult.
No, an adult. We couldn't find her anywhere, and she was just sleeping on the deck under a blanket with it over her head. So, it's a great feature to find one another. Yes. So, but there's lots to do on the Koningsdam, and those are just some of our thoughts on the entertainment and activities. So I hope you enjoyed our likes and wishes from our Holland America Koningsdam Alaskan cruise. If you could go ahead and follow us or hit that subscribe button for more cruising content, it would be much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching and listening today. Until next time, happy cruising.